Hi, I'm Chris Matten, a partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers in Singapore, and I'm here at the ICBI RiskMinds conference in Amsterdam 2012, and today I'm talking to Andrew Walker from Tweetminster. Now, Andrew, I think you're going to be talking at the conference about social media and how the change in technology and the change in people's attitudes to technology is perhaps going to influence the way banks need to think about risk and how they manage that going forward. So could you perhaps elaborate on that?
Yeah. A lot of what I'm talking about refers to decentralization, this notion that our working processes are being decentralized by new technologies. This is nothing new. I always use the analogy of the direct dial telephone. You know, there was a time when you could only phone one number and someone had to connect you internally somewhere else, and when voicemail was a piece of paper with stuff written down on it. Now, of course, when the direct dial phone came along, suddenly businesses could be much more productive, but it opened the doors for the social world to start coming into the business world.
Right.
Because you weren't just bringing clients, of course, you could ring your partner, you could ring your buddies, you could book a restaurant. There are all sorts of social and business functions that started blending together. Now, social media does exactly the same thing, except with computer processing. It's the chance for you to collaborate with your clients and your colleagues around live data, but also is the chance to conduct your social life at the same time. As with the phone, it takes a bit of training to get used to that. So from a risk point of view, it sort of presents two key areas that are new. They're a sort of new culture for risk managers to think about. One of those is obviously reputational risk. It's a real-time world with signals getting broadcast all the time. Now, in that world, you have to be aware of how do you manage your reputation in a space like that.
And is that going both ways? So that's talking about both people within the bank perhaps releasing information or saying things on Twitter or Facebook that they perhaps shouldn't say? Or are we also talking about what the clients of the bank might be saying to each other about?
Exactly. It is a two-way thing. I mean, it's particularly relevant for wealth managers. You know, wealth management is one of those things. I heard Sebastian Dovey speaking in Doha earlier this year, who said that, you know, for the banking side, it's 90% mathematics and data and it's 10% emotional. For the client side, it's 90% emotional and 10% maths. That difference in perspective is where social channels have great potential, because it helps you get a social and emotional connection with your clients. If you can see their social media footprint, see what they're into, build that kind of sort of positive wealth management relationship. The challenge with this is it's a new world, it's a new culture. And that means that your staff need to understand, and banks, I think from an HR perspective, need to understand, well, okay, how do we manage this world? Are people setting up their privacy settings right? Okay. If you have a picture of yourself on a stag do, you know, with writing on your head, knocking back shots, that's fine if your friends see it. It's not fine if your clients see it.
Right.
So, you know, there's that stream of addressing how are your staff using Facebook and Twitter and those things for their social lives. Does that have a reputational impact? How do you manage that internally? But then, of course, the flip side is that people will be talking about you in these spaces. That there is no question. You look for any company name, there is a chat going on about them right now on Twitter. Now, of course, a lot of the sort of risk approach so far has been, well, we won't engage, because traditional PR thinking says if you don't engage, then you don't get drawn into the conversation. I think that, in a way, in the social media era has turned on its head. We're now looking at a situation where if you're not engaged, you can't hope to control the message.
Right.
I had a conversation with a chap from a large American bank at the Nordic Investor Services Forum earlier this year in Stockholm, who said, well, you've sent out some tweets of statistics here, but you haven't credited the source, and, you know, various things. And I had to explain, in 140 characters, you can't reference McKinsey's and get the juicy bit of data out there at the same time. And he said, but if I want to control that message, there's nothing I can do about it because it's already out there in the Twitter sphere. And I said to him, well, you can, because you can be there. You could be monitoring those signals, you could see when that goes out and add to it, and that's a stat from McKinsey's. The thing there is that it's not confrontational. The beauty of it is it makes me look cooler if I'm engaging with industry professionals and they're giving me additional information. That's how the conversation develops. But it's this notion of continuous engagement, which is very new territory for risk managers.
Okay, thank you very much. Very interesting.
Yeah, thank you. Well, there's more to come. Hopefully nothing too risky, I have to say, later on.
Okay, well, it sounds like quite a challenge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.